What's up, Dabomaniacs? Dabstroyero here, and I'm back with another unboxing video. Although this time it's more of a testimonial or a review than an actual unboxing, but basically I'm going to spend the next few minutes talking about a product and trying to be a little bit humorous and informative for all of you. So let's see how I do.
Please clap.
This time I'm talking about my experience purchasing a $16,000 vehicle on Carvana. That's right, I dropped an absolute fat stack on a car just to do a video for you.
I am never gonna financially recover from this.
Totally unrelated to any other factors in my life. LOL, hour-long commute. But before I jump into the video, I just wanted to say, if you're new to my channel, be sure to punch that subscribe button and join my tag team because we're on the road to my first 100 subscribers, and I'd love to have you along for the ride. But anyway, if you're not familiar with Carvana, it's basically a unique online car buying experience that effectively eliminates the need to travel to any car dealerships or deal with any pushy auto dealers. A concept that immediately appealed to the anxiety-ridden introvert within me. And Carvana accomplishes all this by using a pretty robust website and some cool-looking vehicle vending machines, along with a personal vehicle delivery straight to your door. It also allows potential buyers to test drive the vehicle for a full week before buying, so you get the chance to really see if the vehicle fits your needs. So for my own Carvana experience, we need to cast ourselves back almost exactly 1 year ago from now. There I was, a precocious, slightly younger guy, totally oblivious to the impending global pandemic about to smack us all in the face. Suffering through an hour-long daily commute with a really tragic personal vehicle. Think no heat, no AC, weird fumes, blown speakers, total lemon. Basically, I decided it was time to upgrade. So at this point, my first step was to use the search feature on Carvana and narrow down my search, trying to get an idea of what options I would be looking for. The site has a variety of filters that you can use to try to narrow down what you're looking for. Since I didn't really have anything specific in mind, I was sort of just meandering around seeing what I came across while I was reviewing. From here, I expanded out to some online forums and websites, just trying to get an idea of how the prices were going to compare between Carvana and the local dealerships and the online asking prices. I thought the price discrepancy seemed pretty reasonable. Carvana seemed to be right around what other dealers or online sellers were looking for comparable vehicles with comparable mileage and comparable year of release. So I felt pretty confident that I wasn't going to be terribly ripped off by Carvana at this point. So that gave me a little bit more confidence to move forward with the purchase, knowing that there wasn't going to be a huge sticker markup for the Carvana service. Next, I started to get a little bit more deep into the research of the different models that Carvana was serving up for me in my price range. And after poring over those forums like I was Gandalf searching for Isildur's writings, I finally came to a conclusion, and I was gonna go with a Mazda CX-5. In terms of year and mileage, I ended up with a 2016 that I was looking at that had slightly higher mileage than some of the others. So when all was said and done, I was looking at about 17 grand in fees and all of that for this vehicle.
Never leave the cave without it.
Absolute top of my price range, and I kind of was hoping that I was gonna get some quality out of the extra 2 grand, or maybe I just talked myself into thinking that. So after I pulled the trigger and hit the button, Carvana started working out the delivery arrangements, and I had, prepped for the car to arrive in a few weeks, which gave them time to do a pre-sale inspection and get it all ready for shipping. Like I said earlier, you get 7 days to try the vehicle, and the nice thing is you don't have to pay until after you make your decision. If on the 7th day you decide you're not interested, they'll pick it up and take the vehicle away at no charge. So after waiting a few weeks and getting confirmation emails and texts and confirming I would be available for the vehicle, unfortunately, things started to go off the rails a little bit at this point. A few hours before the scheduled delivery, Carvana reached out to me and let me know that they'd have to change the delivery for the vehicle, that the vehicle wasn't ready, that they hadn't gotten it ready for delivery in time. If I remember correctly, I think they called it a minor prep issue or something to that effect. Unfortunately, this meant that they were going to be pushing the delivery of the vehicle back. To the benefit of Carvana, I will say that they were pretty forthcoming with resolutions for me. So they immediately waived the delivery fee, which if I remember correctly was about $500.
Money, please.
They also told me that since the delivery was going to coincide with my trip, they'd be willing to let me keep the vehicle for 2 weeks instead of the traditional 1 week. So I was going to get 2 weeks to drive the vehicle around, test it out, and see how things went. Now, this actually worked out perfectly for me because I was planning on getting an actual inspection done on the vehicle. So this gave me the chance to drive the vehicle the first few days, take it to the garage, leave it there for the inspection while I traveled, and then when I got back, I'd be able to pick the vehicle up, hear how it was looking to the mechanic, and then I'd be able to have the vehicle for a few more days before I made my final decision. So the car was delivered as expected. The truck rolled up, the driver got it off the truck and drove it into my driveway. They let me take it around for a test drive. I drove it probably about 5 to 10 minutes, left the guy waiting in my driveway, unfortunately, but I wanted to give it a nice test. And then we did a walk around together of the vehicle. One of the things I noticed is that there were some extra scratches and just a few minor physical imperfections. I also noticed that the right side mirror wasn't really working as expected. It was an electric mirror and it just sort of clicked when you used it. The guy did make note of that stuff and said that he would write it up on his end, and that if I did decide to purchase the vehicle, I might be able to work out some sort of work agreement for that with the company. So the vehicle was comfortable, the driving was fine, everything seemed fine with the vehicle, so I took it in for the inspection, dropped it off during my trip. When I came back, I got a little bit of news from the mechanic. They said that the brakes were actually extremely worn to the point where they would fail the state inspection. Now, this was a little bit concerning to me because Carvana did state that they would do a pre-delivery inspection on the vehicle, and that was actually the reason why the vehicle was delayed, if you remember. So at this point, I'm a little bit annoyed that they would deliver a vehicle with brakes that, from the sound of it, were unsafe. So I called, put on my Karen face again, and I explained the situation. I said, hey, you guys delivered a vehicle. It had bad brakes. My mechanic says it wouldn't even pass inspection. Well, it turns out that Carvana agreed with me again, and they actually knocked off $1,000 off the price of the vehicle.
Money, please.
And agreed to cover the repairs to replace the brakes and repair the mirror and, those other minor issues that I had noticed. So at this point, the vehicle had effectively been knocked back down into my acceptable price range just through the, unfortunate bumblings of Carvana. So I took the vehicle to the garage, I got the brakes fixed, I got everything sorted out, and pretty much at this point is when the world started to collapse and everything shut down, and truth be told, I was working from home at that point, so didn't really need this vehicle from Carvana that I dropped a bunch of money on at the time. But that said, it has served me well in the limited amount of driving I've needed to do. It's been extremely comfortable, it's been reliable, I love that it's got a much better fuel mileage than my last vehicle, and just nice to upgrade to something from this millennium. So after a fair amount of nail biting, I pulled the trigger on a massive purchase.
A new car!
So there you have it. That was my experience with Carvana. Overall, I do think I would purchase from Carvana again. Like I mentioned, there were some hiccups in the process, delivery delays, maybe a botched pre-trip inspection, some bad brakes were delivered. But at the end of the day, I think the key is that they rectified the situations. They paid to repair the brakes. They paid to repair the issues. They also took money off of the chassis. They took off the delivery fee. And I think this is something that, should be considered. I've heard other people have had bad experiences or haven't really appreciated the car. I think they give you a week to test it out if you're taking it and getting an inspection done and, doing your due diligence. I think you can have a good experience with Carvana, and it could be worthwhile, especially if you don't want to deal with the car dealerships. That was one for me. I didn't want to be driving around to a bunch of dealerships in an already terrible vehicle, and then not having to deal with the harassment of the, salespeople. That's always a plus in my opinion. So if you're interested in checking out Carvana, or if you've checked out Carvana before, let me know what you thought of it. Let me know what you thought of this video as well. Be sure to hit that like button. And like I said earlier in the video, please be sure to subscribe. Join my tag team because I'm on my way to 100 subscribers and I cannot do it without you. But that's all for now. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this video.
Money, please.